Howdy travelers, this is Toni Gatlin with RedPenTravelers.com. It is a brand new year and we have brand new sizes and brand new colors to bring you this year. I'm so excited because we've got a really big variety. We're going to have 10 sizes and a dozen different colors plus undyed leather, so technically 13 colors if you want to count that as a color option. And I am really thrilled to be able to show you one from each color and one from each size, so you can kind of get a really up-close view of the options available and figure out what size works best for you. We're also going to look at some of the customization options, different things like eyelets and elastic colors, things like that. So let's just start from the smallest notebook and we'll go to the biggest. So this is a new size, pardon me, this is a new size for us this year. This is the tiny size. Then this is the turquoise dye color and turquoise elastic. So this is the very smallest one that we've got this year, and it holds these really little moleskine inserts, and it would also hold a credit card size or business card size organizer if you had like one of those little plastic inserts. So this size is really popular as a wallet because it is so small and it can fit in a purse or even in a pocket pretty easily. Now, because this one is so small, it does have some limitations, but we're going to talk about that later. I need to show you some other things first, and then we'll come back to this one at the end. But again, this is the tiny size, and this is the turquoise dye color and the turquoise elastic. Now, a note about the turquoise dye color. You can see how it shows a lot of the natural grain of the leather in there. I find that frequently happens with the turquoise dye. Some of the other colors we're going to look at are very much more opaque and do a really good job of being a solid color. So this one does often end up with a lot of variation. I mean, you can even see kind of some of the brown of the leather. The tan is kind of coming through a little bit on this particular piece. So if you are looking for something that's going to be absolutely consistent and very similar every time, like if you wanted a matching set of notebooks or something, you may want to steer clear of this one. But if you do like the natural variations, I think a lot of times it really does, come out really beautiful, but it is a little less predictable than some of the other options. So, because each piece of leather is different, and so sometimes it comes out more bluish, sometimes it's greenish, so it really is a little bit of a surprise every time. And you can see on the inside, this one came out on the flesh side of the leather. It's actually quite blue. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think it's really beautiful even with the variations, or maybe even because of the variations, but it's something I like to make clear up front because this one definitely is not as opaque as some of the other options. So let's continue on. That's the tiny size. We'll set it aside for a little bit. The next size is Passport, and this is a classic size. It has pretty standard size inserts that you can order online or even find in stores occasionally. This is another popular sort of a purse or portable size. So this is the Marigold dye color. It's a nice golden yellow, and this one has the Espresso elastic. It's a brown. Of course, you can choose any combination of dye color and elastic. You don't have to go with the combinations that I have here. I just matched up what I thought looked nice when I was preparing these as samples. So, so again, this is the Passport size with Marigold elastic and Espresso. Marigold dye and Espresso elastic. And just like all of my notebooks, it's got 3 holes in the spine, and so there's 4 elastics inside. So you can fit at least 4 inserts, probably 1 or 2 more if they're thin and if you piggyback them in. So the next size up is what's called pocket size. Now it is probably a little too big to actually go in a pocket, but that's the name that it's known by, and this is also known as the field note size, and so it holds any sort of 3x5 kind of insert there, so field notes or anything of a similar size. These don't happen to be field notes, but they're the same size. Now this one is undyed, so you can see it's just the smooth, natural grain of the leather. It's been treated with a leather balm, so it is smooth and a little bit shiny, just a little bit. So that's an option that you can choose if you want something that doesn't have a dye color built in, but will be able to take on a natural patina over time. As you handle it, as it's exposed to light, as you use it on a regular basis, it will change color, and it will get to be, depending on how much light exposure and usage it gets, it can end up a really beautiful, sort of a cognac color, and get kind of a darker brown. So this can be a really beautiful option. It's also a lot softer. When you dye leather, it does stiffen it quite a bit, so you'll see that this one is a lot more pliable, and that's just a natural characteristic of the leather. This is going to be a lot more bendy, and so if you like something that feels really soft in your hand, and you want that color change over time, and you want it to get kind of scuffed and personality and little marks and things over time, undyed can be a great option. So something else this one has is eyelets. Instead of just having the holes punched straight through and having elastic run through those, these have eyelets. It doesn't especially reinforce anything. I mean, I guess it does a little bit, but the leather's really sturdy enough on its own. It doesn't need that, but it does add a more decorative aspect there. So if you like that look, you can add that as an option on your notebook. So again, as all the others, 3 holes, so 4 elastics on the inside, and then of course that one around the spine. And this is the cream elastic. So undyed leather, cream elastic, and this is the pocket size notebook. Alright, another color that is new for this year is called Pine. It is a really lovely green, at least I think it's lovely, and this is a pocket size notebook as well. You can see that's the same size. Oops, sorry, bumped my camera. So this is a really nice green. This is a color that that I've blended myself, so you may not find anything similar to this elsewhere. So this is one that I'm not using straight out of a bottle. This is a blend just for me. So there's another video that you can look at that explains the premium spine option here, and we'll go into more detail on that, but that's something you can add if you want to have a more book-like appearance and hide those elastics in there. But I just wanted to show it here because it's one of the new colors. So that's called Pine, and it's a dark green. So the next color is also going to be a little special notebook. It is again a reinforced spine that you can see in another video, and this is a 2-inch spine, so if you like a really chunky notebook, you can do that. This also has a premium closure tab, so rather than visible elastics on the spine and around the outside, this is all leather. It's the entire notebook is leather, metal, and then the elastic straps. So again, this is the field note size, and this is the Cardinal dye. So this is red, and I'm showing you this because this is one of the colors that we have available this year. This is one that we've had for a while, so not a new color. Just wanted to make sure that you see that, but be sure and watch the other video about the spine and the extra tab. So another new size for us is, let's see, this is A6. This holds a 4x6 insert, and these are just, let's see, that's Ecolo. Let's say it that way, Ecolo. And I just picked these up, I want to say at Office Depot or something. They were very easy to find. This is a size that you can pick up in a lot of places, so it's very handy. It's also small enough to fit in a purse, so those 4x6 inserts are really handy. This is the hot pink color. This is one we've had for a while, as well as hot pink elastic, and same setup on the spine here. So that's your A6 size notebook, and it'll hold at least 4 inserts there. Okay, next up is the personal size. This is in Espresso dye and with Espresso elastic, so it's just a really deep coffee brown. I think it's really classy. This is something, you know, a color that you could carry with you to a professional office, you know, into a boardroom. You know, you may not be as comfortable taking notes in a, you know, bright pink notebook, depending on where you work. So if you need something that's a little more conservative, maybe a little more polished, this is a really fantastic color, sort of a neutral if you wanted to go for that. This one also has eyelets. These are the brushed brass eyelets. So I've got two finishes. This is the brushed brass, and there's going to be another we'll look at in a little bit, the brushed nickel. So those will be a little more silver tone. This is more of a gold tone. So if you want something more yellowy, this is your choice. And then if you want more like a silvery, a cooler tone, the brushed nickel will be a better bet for you. So this size is a little unique. It can be a little hard to find, but some people really love this size. It's very similar to the Midori Traveler's Notebook, except it's a little shorter. And the Midori comes up a couple more inches, and I think it's a little bit wider. So you can find inserts that are this size, a lot of them on Etsy, or you can print your own. There's some options there, but that's one that you may not find readily in a store. So I just kind of consider that when you're choosing sizes. Okay, next one is another new size for us. Where has it gone? Okay, well, we'll skip that and come back to it. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is B6. This holds a 5x7 insert, and these are some let's see, Punch Studio inserts that I picked up, I think, at TJ Maxx or somewhere. I'm buying inserts all the time, and I just save them until I have a notebook that fits it. So sometimes I don't always remember where they came from, but I just thought these were really pretty, and they've got kind of a gold foil on there. So this is purple, and purple elastic. In the B6 size, it holds a 5x7 insert, and again, 3 holes along the spine for 4 elastic cords inside. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then there's still an extra cord there, and you can always piggyback more inserts as well. So that's purple in B6. So the regular, the classic Midori size, the size that started it all, is this one, and this is a blue. We're calling it Midnight, and this is, it's just a really dark blue. It looks kind of bright here because of the way that the light from the window is shining on that, but it really is very dark. This is another one you could carry very easily into a professional setting, and this is Midnight. Oh, I'm so sorry. Midnight elastic as well. So, and same as all the others, 3 holes, 4 strands inside. And these inserts are from Paper Penguin Company, so you can check them out on Etsy. They're really cool. I'm impressed with the paper quality here, and the covers are really nice, especially this wood grain one. That's quite beautiful, I think, and it's textured. It feels great. So that is the regular Midori size. Next is what is commonly known as wide. This is a big notebook. We're starting to get into something that you could actually use for, you know, taking class notes if you're in school, anything like that, or using as a planner. This is a hefty size notebook. And these are moleskine inserts that were painted specifically for me by Amber Thomas over at Amber Thomas Makes on Etsy. So look her up, and you can customize ones just for you as well. I told her that I love cherries, and so she painted that for me. And flowers and snapdragons are some of my favorites. So these are all hand painted on the cover. Very, very fun. I really love having those. And this is the size that fits in the wide notebook cover. So they're about 8 by 5. I'll have specific dimensions on my website so you can have exact you know, inches there, but just off the top of my head, they're about 8 by 5. So that fits in the wide size. And this is black, and with black elastic, and here are the brushed nickel eyelets. So let's compare them. Let's see, where did they, here's the The Espresso has the brushed brass, and the black has the brushed nickel. So you can see the difference there. This one is cooler and more silver tone. This one's warmer and more of a yellow tone, a gold tone. So there's some differences there. Of course, you can add them to whichever color you like, whatever combination suits you the best. Okay, we've got two more sizes. The A5 is one step up from wide. So if you like to use a wide notebook but you want to have a lot of inserts, you could always just jump up to the A5 size, and that would allow you to put a bunch, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 wide inserts in here. You would just piggyback them in and it would just end up being really chunky. So this is one of my favorite dye colors, Mahogany, and this is one that, again, plays very nicely in a professional environment. It's just sort of a reddish brown. I think it's a really rich, kind of sumptuous looking color. It's definitely one of my favorites. So the A5 inserts, they're about 8 inches tall, but they're wider. They're wider than the Moleskine version. You can see that even the notebook is narrower in that wide version. So if you like to have lots of room, the A5 is a wonderful choice, and it's a size that you can find those inserts a lot of times at Office Depot or craft stores like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or discount places like Marshall's or TJ Maxx, or any sort of stationary outlet. You can find that size. It's also a very common size in Europe. So just keep that in mind as you are choosing inserts. You want something that you can actually refill and not have to hunt all over the world or all over the internet for that size. Okay, one more size and one more color. This is a new size and a new color for us this year. This is a jumbo, and this is the charcoal color. Now this is going to be similar to the turquoise in that it does show a lot of the texture of the leather coming through the dye. It is not opaque like some of the others. Like, see the purple? The purple really covers everything. The charcoal is going to be a little more sheer. I think it looks a little bit like denim. And the same with the turquoise. If you can think of the way these colors might look if they were jeans, if they were kind of a crumpled up sort of denim, that's the kind of feeling that I get from these. So it can be a really beautiful look, especially if the leather underneath is pretty. So anyhow, this is the jumbo size, and I've reinforced this. Again, it doesn't need it for durability, but just for style, not for function. But it's got eyelets on the side, but rather than having the hole punched for the elastic that goes around the middle, I've added the tab closure instead. So again, you'll see that in another video, more detail there. But I wanted to be sure to show you this color up close and personal, and also this size. This is the biggest one we've ever offered, and this is new for us this year. It holds the Moleskine, the very largest size that they've got. It also will hold a composition notebook, which is super easy to find, and they're very, very inexpensive. They're usually something like 99 cents when you catch them around back to school time. Could stock up and last yourself all year long. These are a little thicker, so you can probably only fit about 3 in here. The Moleskine ones are thinner, so you can fit 4 at least of those. But yeah, if you use these, you'll probably max it out around 3 just because they're thicker. So these are all the sizes and colors for this year. I am super excited to have so much variety. Some of these sizes are ones that people have been asking for quite a bit, especially the B6 is one that I've had a lot of requests for. I'm really excited about the reinforced spine option, and again, this tiny one, having something that's so portable is really fun. And another new thing we're going to offer this year is the ability to set up a matching set. So if you want to have a smaller notebook, say, you know, a pocket size or a passport, let's say a passport, that you can kind of throw in your purse and have a portable notebook with you, but you also want a bigger one for your, you know, your journal or your planner, something that kind of stays at home on your desk. You don't want to cart around with you, but, you know, say, let's say A5. So you want a passport and an A5. We will have the ability for you to order a set like that, and you'll get a discount over ordering 2 separate ones. So that way you can kind of build a set for yourself, and they can match. You can choose the same die color for each one. So keep an eye out for that, or if you're looking for a 2-for-1 kind of deal there, or if you want one for yourself, one for a friend, that's always an option too. So let me know if you've got questions. I'm super excited to bring you these this year. I'm excited about 2017, and we've got good things coming for you. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.